Yeah.
Let's check out Frittata. Frittata finally made a video that's not about Nintendo. Check the windows, have pigs flying? We need confirmation. Can I go ice skating in the hell now? What's going on? Xbox quit. Microsoft response to next gen leaks.
God wants you stirring things up. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, Dad. One last thing, though. I love you. And I love you. I love you, Dad. I love you. He can't hear me because of this.
I definitely heard you.
And the glass is too thick. I think there's something wrong.
Frittata!
You know, if you're an Xbox guy, I'm not quite sure how you've been able to deal with so much neglect and so much.
It's called copium.
Copium is strong.
No, actually, I stopped using Xbox after 360. I kind of gave up. I'm over it. Wait, which one do we have?
Much drama constantly surrounding your platform of choice, because when it comes to all the kids on the school bus, the ones who get shat on the most are obviously the Xbox guys. Not saying the PlayStation and Nintendo dudes are much better. I mean, yes, they have more successful companies, but they're still getting pounded just as hard. However, when it comes to the Xbox guys, they've been living with the brand for the last decade that has constantly had its very existence put into question. You never know if the Xbox brand will be here tomorrow, which of course leads a lot of people into having no trust.
Oh, okay, I have a very bad joke. What's the difference between Xbox fans and Nintendo fans? Nintendo fans will hunt you down even if you sigh at Mario. Xbox fan will help you shit on Xbox. I did say it's a shitty joke.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, you're right.
Or confidence in Microsoft whatsoever. So they've all left and gone to either Nintendo, PC, or PlayStation. And Microsoft's recent price hikes for Game Pass and their consoles has caused a mass exodus. To the point, Twitter was actually legitimately convinced Microsoft was stepping out of the console market as effective as 48 hours. Was any of it true? Well, that depends. If it's Microsoft telling you it's not true, that's about as reliable as that super hot Asian girl you're talking to telling you she swears she's not a catfish. Either way, that didn't really stop a lot of
I
content
really thought he's gonna say she swears she's a virgin.
creators from putting out videos saying that, you know, the Xbox console was officially canceled. Is this thing one? Oh, okay, all right, it's all working. Excellent, excellent. Okay, we have excellent news for those of you who are
My guy needs a pop filter. On God.
terminally on Xbox. Your console isn't exactly canceled, as Microsoft has officially responded to people, but then again, I question if this is Microsoft or an auto.
Okay, fun tidbit. So when me and Zen got together, so we had to do the whole e-data stuff first since we were continents apart. And I used to stream with a webcam at that point, right? On Twitch. Just on Twitch. And my dumbass recorded a video of myself and I sent it to Zen saying, just to prove I'm not a catfish. And he's like, honey, I see you live on stream. What do you mean you're proving that you're not a catfish?
Automated message. Microsoft assures gamers Xbox hardware plans remain strong amid latest rumors. Xbox isn't going all cloud. Next-gen consoles are still coming, and rumors of Xbox's console demise have been greatly exaggerated. Well, that depends entirely on what's an exaggeration to you, Jez. Last I remember, you're the guy who said Microsoft wasn't porting its games to PlayStation, and that all of that was just a rumor, and well, you know, since this is the Xbox, you got egg all over your face after making such bold predictions and claims. But enlighten us, please. Where do you get this confidence from? Amid swirling rumors of a hardware exit, Microsoft reassures gamers on October 5th, 2025 that Xbox remains committed to next-gen console development, contradicting claims stemming from recent price hikes and a growing disconnect with its community. But how can we know what will be true next quarter?
That's the neat thing.
you don't. Let's put aside for a minute the fact that Xbox Game Pass remains a primary driver of revenue and is
Not anymore. With all the cancellation to a point of the website crashing, not anymore, brother.
Not anymore.
Wing it a miss. What's next?
most prolific on Xbox console hardware, and that's where the bulk of the users are right now. Let's put aside the fact that Xbox cloud gaming is restricted by location and is expensive to run. Combine that with the fact—
Okay, yeah, but they're also bringing in like the free cloud gaming where you get 5 hours a month, 1 hour at a time, and then you have to watch a big Whopper ad.
Yeah, a big Whopper ad.
Or like we got the meats ad.
fact that with the same silicon, you could give people their own cloud natively in their house and get them to use their own electricity to power it, you know, like a console. It doesn't make a lot of sense on paper, but regardless, that's where we're at.
Game Pass, Game Pass, got it on my PC and my Xbox.
What the fuck did I just say?
You know, surprisingly, I'm not one to actually be entirely against cloud gaming. I'm not going to say the name of what services specifically, but let's just say that I've used a lot of web browser emulators to run games that are incredibly hard to emulate right now, like Metal Gear Solid 4. And I was legit
I really thought he's talking about Nintendo.
surprised. It's by no means a perfect image, and the latency is inconsistent and all over the place. It's a glimpse into a future that's not too far away. Cloud gaming is going to overtake gaming as a whole. It's a dark future that not many of us want to see, and a lot of it is going to be powered with AI. But indeed, Game Pass is still Microsoft's bread and butter. Game Pass will be that service that propels game streaming. Nvidia and Valve have the tech down as well, but when it comes to who can push and venture further, I think most people will—
I'm not a fan of cloud gaming. I must say this right away. I'm not a fan. I prefer my games offline on a physical copy. So no one can touch or alter my game experience. And the game has to be finished. I hate game clouding. Cloud gaming too. I feel like the more we're going into like the online service games, the more they're using it as an excuse to deliver us unfinished products. Their logic is, hey, we can patch it out with time anyways, so we don't have to finish it for the launch.
put their chips on Microsoft. Now, these ventures, of course, have cost them in the console market greatly, as we're experiencing that now, but either way, the Xbox console hardware is not going to be necessary for such a future, and that is troubling to a lot of folks. I think most of us are just not comfortable with the idea of not having proprietary hardware to run our games, because not only is streaming still not exactly there, but it completely removes game ownership, which is what every company wants. Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. They all want you to not own your games, but especially dear old Microsoft. This is why the Xbox console has become secondary to Game Pass. So yes, it's quite easy to believe Microsoft would one day just pull the plug on this system, because the vision for a future—
I still cannot believe how much Microsoft is murdering Xbox. Xbox, in my opinion, I know it's a debatable topic. In my opinion, Xbox used to be way better than PlayStation, especially in the 360 era. In the 360 era, I used to use my Xbox more than my PC. I would be on it every single day, where I had days where I wouldn't even switch on my PC. It was so much better. And now Xbox is such a laughing stock. It can't even hold up a candle to PlayStation, and PlayStation is a joke on its own. Imagine not even being able to be on the same level as a joke console. This is just sad.
future where their services are no longer tied to specific hardware. That's a vision they've had for a long ass time. And you can actually go back and pinpoint exactly when Microsoft was even mentioning these things. Now, that's a huge problem for console fanboys who still have no idea how to enjoy anything without ensuring others don't get access to what they enjoy. It's the whole thing with console fanboy elitism. that shit only mattered for a short amount of time. Gaming is gonna be here longer than you'll ever be alive, and by the time you are gone, a world with no console brand identity, no exclusives to set apart the hardware, yeah, that's gonna happen. Thing here is Microsoft is approaching that future rapidly. They are trying to accelerate that. So it's up to Microsoft to prove to its 30 million console owners that no, we are still going to make next-gen hardware. How can you prove that to us? Well, apparently. Update, Microsoft has at least confirmed that for now, that's a good for now right there, yeah, that the rumors are false, as noted in the statement above. But how did we get here? The original report continues below. Well, we don't need the full report. What we need is answers, Jez. I've asked multiple trusted sources, many of whom spoke to me on the above devices previously, which turned out to be true, about what Xbox's present hardware posture is. And with Microsoft's confirmation, there's no reason to think anything is changing. Microsoft publicly confirmed that it's still committed to first-party Xbox hardware over the summer, with comments from both President Sarah Bond and AMD CEO Lisa Su on silicon that would power next-gen Xbox devices, both from third and first party. The statement reiterates this commitment. So what's that statement from Microsoft? Well, the statement...
So how are they managing to make it uglier and uglier each generation? Even like the controllers, every generation controllers they're releasing, the grip is less and less comfortable. Like my fingers with like the newer ones, my fingers are having difficulties reaching buttons. And I don't have some tiny mutant hands. I have normal hands. Well, I have like a little bit smaller hands, but they're still normal hands. It's not some freak of nature tiny hand. But I'm having difficulties like reaching buttons on the newer generation controllers. And not to mention like the newer generation's controllers from Xbox, you cannot even use them for some like games anymore. Apparently the controller is not compatible. It's too new. Like, I don't understand what the hell are we doing. Xbox Elite controller to me is the best, but it's expensive for basic comfort. The Xbox controller break too easy if you play shooters. I never had an experience with my controller breaking, only getting worn out after years of playing.
Reads, Microsoft has provided the following statement, echoing our previous report. We are actively investing in our future first-party consoles and devices designed, engineered, and built by Xbox. For more details, the community can revisit our agreement announcement with AMD. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Microsoft's doing a pretty good job covering their tracks by pointing people to that announcement and agreement with AMD, because, I mean, let's be real. The money has already been put on the table. AMD has already been paid to start manufacturing millions upon millions of chips for Microsoft. So obviously, they're gonna have to, at the very least, try to make their money back on such an investment. So yes, I do see the consoles not going anywhere. Microsoft is still dedicated to selling hardware, and honestly, there's a few good reasons for that. The Xbox controllers sell like crazy. Game Pass generates...
Yeah, like, I don't understand. The last controller, the last generation of controllers I got, which one was that? Is the one you got me. It was like that special one. This little dumb is less comfortable than the previous one, and it's not compatible with games. How are you making a controller that's not compatible for controller games? Like, literally, I had instances where I'm firing up a game and the game is telling me that the controller is not compatible with it. It's too new. You need to use an older version of a controller.
Money, and they still make money on software. This, of course, raises a lot of questions. What exactly does Microsoft mean by future first-party consoles, as Jez himself and several other people have pointed? Microsoft is expanding. They've now allowed companies like Republic of Gamers to brand a handheld with their own logo. Now, don't be surprised if you see Kindle Fire Sticks or whatever with an Xbox logo on them.
Wait, really? I didn't know that. Have you tried Xbox mini controllers? Wait, is that a thing? Wait, that's a thing. I didn't even... Oh my god, they're expensive. They kind of remind me of the old controller. Why does the console in the article look like a speaker and the Wi-Fi router had an ugly baby? It does look like a speaker, you're right. And that's why I said, like, I feel like the further it goes, the uglier they're making it. Like I feel like 360 was the peak of design for Xbox. Okay, let me see if I can pull these up. I picked the ones where my face is not there. So just a disclaimer, this is when I was moving around in Southeast Asia, so my setup is a little ugly there. Yeah, buddy, I had this game. Yeah, buddy. And this is the controller I'm talking about. This was the best controller Xbox ever had. They don't make them like that anymore.
That's the 360 controller. I hated it.
I loved it. Oh, it was so good. It was so comfortable. I loved it. My old god awful setup for my Xbox when I was traveling and moving a lot. So this was way before I moved to US. All the games like constantly like in boxes with my Connect on like a random like cheap ass table. Just like my setup made no sense. But like look how easy on the eye the design used to be. It was so easy on the eyes. I miss this time of gaming. Like I miss how much joy I was having from gaming.
Tablets with an Xbox logo. Different form factor consoles slash PCs with an Xbox logo. This makes people question
Like it really does look like a speed.
if it's not a completely closed off first party ecosystem where you just let everybody brand their devices with your logo, are you really in the console race? Or are you intentionally
They are okay. First of all, there's no such thing as console race anymore. PlayStation sucks. Xbox sucks even more. It's not a race. It's wheeling them on life support. One needs an oxygen tank though.
making it harder to distinguish your brand because the first thing you want people to see is your console logo and know exactly what company is behind what you're playing on, whether it's a streaming device or actual hardware or a PC. For all we know, Xbox may no longer just exist as a console brand. However, rumors were that Microsoft wants to outright just pull the plug on the entirety of Xbox itself. And that's just a future I actually don't see happening. The investments that have been made, the studios purchased, it's all intended to serve the purpose of having a constant flow of content. I have a feeling this next gen we're going to see a lot of third-party collaboration with Microsoft in terms of hardware. But alongside that, I have a sneaky suspicion this is far from the last price hike we're gonna see with Game Pass. I could see this service racking up to $50 a month eventually. Because how else are they going to...
I mean, it's literally that's where it's going with Game Pass. 3 price three price hikes on Game Pass Ultimate in under 12 months. That has to be some kind of record.
Make all their money back from such huge acquisitions. See, now when it comes to price hikes, I could see why that affects the average consumer. Now, what I don't understand is the console fanboy perspective of they are no longer first party. They're no longer an exclusive club for me to be a part of when I buy this system. Because when they were that, they sucked ass. Let's be honest. Microsoft sucked when it came to being a first-party provider. However, when it comes to their third-party, I've been legitimately surprised. I played so much Xbox games through Game Pass.
Same.
Right now, they have.
I didn't play Xbox games through Game Pass up until recently for streams, but I did used to play a lot of Xbox games during 360. I think my total game library was around 300 physical copies. But I would get my Xbox games from like in Southeast Asia you have stores where you can get like the secondhand one and they don't have a single scratch. At least in India, it's like stores where you can just go and buy used physical copies. So I accumulated like 300 of them. Even the Connect games, I loved all the 300. No, some of the games I hated, but like I loved that time.
Potential to be the best publisher. Actually, out of all the companies, I think I've played more Xbox published games than any other studio. And none of that requires an Xbox console. And honestly, it really shouldn't. Microsoft may not exit the console market, but they are exiting being a first party
Well, aren't Xbox trying to get into the handheld market?
Yes.
brand for sure. They're no longer going to be an exclusive club like PlayStation and Nintendo. And even then, PlayStation's kind of sort of ditched that whole exclusivity club too. So yes, Microsoft, while you may confirm to people, no, we're not leaving the console market, you are taking a completely different path. And I'm not sure how that will work out. All I do know is we're living in a time where content is king, and you have to be the one to provide the most amount of it. And that's the kind of company Microsoft could be. Whether for the best? Probably not.
I don't think Microsoft can do that anymore, because any product that's coming from Microsoft these days is kind of slopfest.
Yeah.
There's like no thought behind it, and it's every time it's a product that's very poorly designed and performing and overpriced.
I could see a future where Microsoft overtakes the entire content market of gaming and nearly monopolizes it. Likewise, though, you shouldn't want Microsoft to exit the console market. From the console user's perspective, of course, that is
Yeah, but it does create a monopoly. If there's only if you have only PlayStation left, that's not exactly what you should be looking forward to. If anything, it would be better for everyone if there's competition, direct competition to consoles.
because with no Xbox, you got nobody to put PlayStation in check. And if you don't think Sony's going to be raising the prices of their systems again, or their games again, or their services, then you've learned nothing about what Microsoft has been doing here.
I think the key takeaway of this video is you don't want, like, we all know Xbox sucks. PlayStation sucks too. But you don't want the only competition leaving and it automatically creating a monopoly. If anything, you would want more competition. Good video.
Very good video.
Also, Ryukin says, or Walmart. I might sound like an idiot. I didn't know there's Walmarts in Puerto Rico. If I sound like an idiot, I'll own it. But I genuinely didn't know. Only competition, there's Nintendo. Nintendo is a handheld. I don't think a handheld is a competition to an actual console.